please. At the Cabinet meeting, Ian Powell pointed out a mission that has a negative environmental impact on the whole area. This is relating to the Bermuda Bridge Connectivity Project, by the way. We have identified numerous errors and conflicts in the studies that were prepared to support the Bermuda Connectivity Project, which has also been omitted from the Cabinet report. Can you commit to review these missing points before funding is approved?
Council does not provide funds for this project. The project is being funded by the County Council and grants from the local enterprise partnership. Concerns raised at our Cabinet meeting on the 3rd of December have been passed on to the County Highways Department to consider. Several more detailed studies will be done by the County Council, who will then prepare initial design drawings that will be consulted on. The County Council and Cabinet will then make a decision on whether to progress this project to completion, which will be concluded detailed design and construction.
Thank you, Councillor. Shall I call on Richard Briggs?
My question is, the scope and extent of the traffic modelling for the Bermuda Connectivity Project shown on page 21 of the Cabinet report on the 3rd of December is not wide enough and will significantly underestimate the impact of the scheme on traffic patterns throughout the Arbury Ward. The link road created by the bridge is significantly shorter than the current routes to the A-Triple via Heath End Road or Greenmore Road, and as a result traffic heading towards the M6 will run through Bermuda Road rather than using the purpose-built A445 bypass. Traffic will reassign from Hornswood Road and Tomkinson Road along Westbury Road, Northumberland Avenue and the Railwoods, and parallel routes to avoid localised junction queues. These new routes are not within the Paramix modelling code, so the impact on the Arbury will not be considered, and the impacts of the scheme significantly underestimated. Please confirm to the residents of Arbury Ward whether the Council is committed to working with its partners to extend the traffic modelling code and up Tomkinson Road to the junction of Hornswood Road and Westbury Road, such that the environmental impacts on the residential areas of Nuneaton are fully understood if funding is provided to develop the scheme to public consultation. Thank you.
Thank you. Cabinet member for Planning and Development, they wish to report.
Yes, the County Council Highways Department have agreed to consider the proposal put forward by Mr Briggs when they decide on the scope of the next round of transport modelling. They've agreed to take your point forward to debate.
Thank you, Councillor. Could I ask that Claire Golby ask a question, please? Claire? No? Then we move on to John Lane.
Yes, yes.
John Lane, please.
Claire, do you want to grab the mic? Sorry for this.
John Lane, please.
Please confirm why the Council has provided taxpayers' money to the LEP for the Bermuda Connectivity Project, and that within its own feasibility report notes, construction of the project, construction development, as well as movement to traffic will produce air and noise pollution and increase road accidents and congestion around the site. The development will also affect residents of Nuneaton due to the increase of pollutants related to traffic emissions. When the LEP have an alternative scheme without the need for the bridge. The LEP report states the scheme achieves its prime objective of addressing all queuing and congestion issues on the A444 at the location. Additionally, the scheme provides capacity for NBBC local plan growth over the plan period up to 2028. The scheme also has sufficient capacity to accommodate significant further growth. Thank you.
Portfolio.
needed to complete the scheme. The LEP do not have an alternative scheme, but they have referred to the potential link road that was described in the council's preferred options. This potential road will depend on future developers' contribution. There is no developer interested in that scheme at the moment, and no detailed work has been done on it. Even if the route does go ahead in future, the proposed Bermuda Connector Road will still improve access to amenities by link road, by linking people to jobs and providing access to George Eliot and the new railway station. The Bermuda Connect Road will not go ahead until more detailed studies have been done to assess the environment, safety and other implications. A public consultation will be undertaken by the County Council Cabinet before the County Council makes their final decision on whether to progress the project to completion.
Thank you, Councillor. Can I now, with the Council's indulgence, go back to question 3? Now Claire's had time to settle down, get herself organised now. Care to ask your question, Claire?
As the WCC have identified that the building of a 1,000-block housing estate on Arbury land is a key outcome of the Bermuda Bridge being opened, I'd like to ask why this has not been discussed much and openly discussed with the people of Bermuda and the wider area by both the WCC and NBBCC, along with the agenda of traffic movements and the theoretical 4,000 jobs creation, of which the published information is heavily biased towards.
Thank you. Portfolio holder.
The potential housing site was part of the Borough Council preferred option consultation took place from the 5th of July 2000 to the 30th of August 2000. This was a major public consultation. No decision has been taken yet about the potential housing site, and there will be further consultation before decisions are taken. The County Council have noted that its benefit on the project will be to improve the road access to the potential housing site at Bermuda if it goes ahead. This project is aimed at supporting job creation, relieving wider congestion issues such as on the A74. It is part of a much wider range of projects that will improve the A74 north and south corridor, including proposed work at Code Arches, connection to the Nuneaton Town Centre, College Street and the Griff Roundabout.
That's not what I asked.
Thank you,
That's
Councillor.
not what I asked.
Can I now move on to
No,
Elizabeth
that's
Sidwell,
not what I asked.
Can you sit down, please?
Why
He's
has it
give you
not
an
been
answer.
publicised?
Please sit down. He's give you an answer.
That's not what I asked.
He's give you an answer. Please sit down.
Rubbish. Rubbish.
Please sit
Rubbish.
down.
Absolute rubbish.
I didn't
Please
ask
sit
that
down.
question.
He's answered your question.
That's not
He's
what
give you
He's
an
answered-
answer. Sit down.
Privacy.
That
Please
is
sit
not the
down.
question that I asked.
Please sit
I
down.
asked why has it not been publicised
Please sit
about the
down.
housing estate. That is not the question that I asked.
He's answered. He's given you an
He's
answer.
answered a different question.
Sit
He's answered his
down.
own question.
2 and 2 is 14.
Whoever was in the HW4,
Can I have
that's what
Elizabeth
we just said,
Sidwell,
that there's no developer in the
Elizabeth
city.
Sidwell.
What an absolute crock.
Can the council provide a breakdown by site and employment use of the estimated 4,000 jobs to be created within the Bermuda Park development as an outcome of the Bermuda Connectivity Project?
We expect about 4,300 jobs to be created across Bermuda as a whole. At the moment, we cannot forecast how the jobs will be spread across the area. We expect the type of jobs to be as follows: 1% management jobs, 22% professional
Capital Growth Fund business case, it states on the main objectives of the plan is to improve the environment for cyclists and pedestrians, to increase the mode of choice of accessibility. Considering this vehicle-free bridge is already used by cyclists and pedestrians, with no traffic on it at all, do you think opening the bridge to all traffic is going to improve the desire and the safety for cyclists and pedestrians to use this route? Give the answer in a week.
The project is expected to include improvements to local walking, cycling network between the East Road, Bermuda Road Junction, Griff Roundabout. The focus is not just on the bridge but on the wider area. The potential improvements include the following. Proposed improvements to George's Way, including the provision of a cycleway and a proposed improvement to the existing shared pedestrian cycle link between the bridge, Barling Way, for the access to Abingdon Building and George Eliot Hospital.
Do you think they'll improve it?
Thank you, Councillor. Can I ask Alan Baxter to deliver his question?
Under the provisions of the Council's Constitution, which I'm sure Mr Richardson can provide you with, I would like to move that the issue of the Bermuda Connectivity Project be referred to the relevant overview and scrutiny panel for detailed scrutiny and members of the public to be able to come and give evidence and consider the implications.
He's rushed to get a clap, Mr Mayor. The leader of the opposition forgot that it's actually on the agenda further along.
Mr Mayor, although this object isn't for debate according to the procedural rules of the Constitution, we are entitled as a council to consider anything which is of interest to the borough and affects the residents of this borough. And it isn't about the procedural motion which the council is referring to, it's about the project as a whole, not the actual decision to grant growth funds. Whether or not the growth funds are given, surely this should be considered and scrutinised by councillors of this authority.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well done. Can I second that, Mr Mayor?
Thank you. I'll third it and forfeit as well.
Right, we need to move to a vote on this issue without discussion. It's been identified, the motion has been put and seconded, it goes to an OS&P. It's been pointed out that it's already on the agenda, so it's a straightforward vote for the motion or against the motion.
Can I call for a recorded vote, please, Mr Mayor?
Recorded vote has been called for. You can bear with us.
Mr Mayor, I will read out the names of each member in alphabetical order who will indicate if they are for or against the motion. Councillor Beaumont.
Against.
Councillor Bonner.
For. Caroline, trying to stand up.
Councillor Copland.
Against.
Councillor Doherty.
Against.
Councillor Downty.
Against.
Councillor Elliott.
Against.
Councillor Foster.
Shame on
Councillor Fowler.
Against.
Councillor Glass.
Against.
Councillor Hancock. Councillor
Definitely
Harvey.
Against.
Councillor Hawkes.
Against.
Councillor Haynes.
Against.
Councillor Hickling.
Against.
Councillor Jackson.
Against.
Councillor Kondaka.
For.
Councillor Tony Lloyd.
Against.
Councillor Ian Lloyd.
Against.
Councillor Longdon.
Against.
Councillor Margrave.
Against.
Councillor Navarro.
Against.
Councillor Caroline Phillips.
Against.
Councillor Neil Phillips.
Against.
Councillor Pomfret.
Against.
Councillor Tracy Shepherd.
Against.
Councillor Tanby.
Against.
Councillor Taylor.
Against.
Councillor Tromans. For. And Councillor Wilson. For.
Shame
So
on
that's
you.
lost and we'll come to it on the agenda further along. Can I now ask Mr Alan Baxter to make his question?
The Lisbon Bedford Borough Council have onwards of 250 housing applications blacklisted, and barring people from progressing into social housing within the borough, as the applicants have prior debts with landlords. These people who are already struggling to pay their rent are the very ones that will benefit from the lower rates of rent offered by council housing, which is roughly 1/3 cheaper than commercial private rentals. I understand that one of the aims of the Borough Council is to raise the standard of life in the borough up towards those enjoyed by the affluent south of the county. To do this by forcing some of the poorest and most vulnerable individuals to look for housing outside of the borough seems immoral to me. Neaton Bedworth Borough Council's Housing Department has also told me that the Borough Homeless Hostel is closed and that homelessness in the borough is rising. It was also reported in the Metro newspaper the other day that some 500,000 people nationally are at risk of being evicted from their homes in the current year. Given this insidious background of financial hardship and homelessness, I ask you, is it ethical for the Council Housing Department to blacklist the poorest and most vulnerable people in our town?
Thank you. Councillor, this is on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to make it clear that the Council's housing allocation policy includes no policy or protocol for blacklisting any applicant. What the policy does do is to enable the Council to suspend an applicant if they owe a former rental debt to either ourselves, as a former council tenant, or a former landlord, be it a housing association or a private landlord. The suspension is in place to enable the applicant to reduce the former rental debt to a figure of at least £200. After that point, their application is made live again and allows for the applicant to start expressing interest to properties in the borough whilst reducing their debt further. The demand for social housing is high, and we currently have over 2,000 live applications registered on HomeHunt, our system for rehousing. The allocation policy was adopted by members in 2013. It seeks to allocate the limited supply of social housing stock within the borough based on prioritising those in greatest housing need and according to criteria to enable fair and transparent allocations. Those applications that are suspended for either formal rental debts or other breaches of tenancy, for example antisocial behaviour, will continue to receive advice and assistance in securing alternative accommodation, such as that available within the private rented sector within the borough. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Can I now ask Katerina Shemensky, if I've done that right, I hope?
Yeah, hi. I'm actually one of... Oh, sorry, it's not working. Oh, yeah, hi. Yeah, I'm actually one of the 250 applicants on your suspension application list. And I would like to inform you that I was never told about the discretionary housing payment fund until somebody pointed it out to me in a local paper, despite frequently visiting the council house and the CAB office for advice and support on what I can claim to help me pay my rent to Jefferson Housing Association. This was due to me having learning difficulties such as dyslexia and not being able to fill out the paperwork properly on my own. For over a year, I had to beg people for a place to sleep whilst trying to hold down 4 zero-hour contract jobs that would take me over an hour to travel to. Due to the lack of support, I am now on the suspension application list due to the alleged outstanding debts that I have been told by Jane Grant on the phone and not via email or post like I requested, that I cannot make a retrospective claim so that I can provide a permanent home for my son. My son, of whom, when I was carrying and was a high-risk pregnancy, was told by one of your officers that they did not care if I was even living in a boot of a car. My son, who now thankfully is okay, he is actually homeless and a genuine first-generation water is not due to a lifestyle change, but having no other way of me being able to afford to keep a roof over his head. Again, I was told by your staff that they do not support water gypsies in the borough. I would like to know how you are going to help me provide a safe home to raise and school him when you do not help people like me who do not exist. I would also like to know when I'm going to get an apology from the council for the lack of information and support that I have provided me over the last 6 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Jansen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for your question. The Council's Strategic Housing and Communities Manager has confirmed that her options team first had contact with you concerning your homelessness situation in April 2012, 2.5 years ago. From this point to the present day, officers of this council have endeavoured to advise and assist in line with our current allocations policy. Over the last 6 months, you've been in contact with housing officers, housing benefit officers, the County Council's Gypsy and Traveller Liaison Officer, and also the planning team, relating to your ongoing
Actually,
assertions
that's
of
me
council.
that's been in touch with them because she can't really...
We'll have no negotiations from the gallery, please. The councillor's
I won't
being
have to tell
please
lies about what
accept the
she's
answer
done.
coming out.
Excuse me, on page 23, agenda item number 6, it doesn't actually say that a supplementary question may be asked if arising directly from the reply of the question. And on several occasions here this evening, you have slapped down people who have tried to make a genuine point. Would you like to look at that, page 23?
Nobody has requested the opportunity for a supplementary question.
I would
So
have liked
there
my
is
question.
You didn't get the chance.
Right, carry on, councillor.
You don't want to listen,
Thank
that's
you,
why.
Mr. Mayor. My understanding is that despite being offered temporary accommodation following the birth of your son, which changed the council's statutory duties to you, you have chosen not to take this offer on.
We haven't been offered
That
anything.
offer is still available.
Not been offered.
We've not been offered anything. I've been suspended for over a year.
I would suggest that the lady asking the question makes contact with officers. The advice I have, Mr. Mayor, is that there is an offer of temporary accommodation.
The only offer we've had is if Katrina leaves me in my care.
Thank people for their
She lives on her
questions.
own in a hostel.
And we're moving on now to questions by members.
You're failing people.
Fail people.
Item 7. Can I ask
This is wrong.
Councillor Hickley for this question?
From the election.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Mayor.
the election will be gone.
Please put the portfolio number for housing update the council on the redevelopment taking place on Spinney Lane and Mills Avenue. Thank you.
Councillor Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council does indeed own 45 properties in Spinney Lane and Knowles Avenue. Under the previous subsidy financing regime, which saw this council pay in excess of £5 million to the government annually, we did not receive, frankly, adequate funding to address all of the refurbishment needs of our housing stock. We moved to self-financing in April 2012, and this has allowed us to increase the amount of money we are able to spend on our homes, meaning that we are now able to prioritise those homes that were not built in a traditional way. 45 of those non-traditional homes are in Spinney Lane and Knowles Avenue, and I am pleased to be able to advise the council that those homes have been refurbished and now have, as Councillor Hickman is well aware, new doors, windows, fascias, sockets, guttering, and importantly, external wall installation, which will significantly increase the energy efficiency of those homes and reduce heating those containers. All works will be completed before Christmas. We have also attracted funding from the Department of Energy and Climate Change to enable owner-occupiers in Spinney Lane and Knowles Avenue to obtain energy efficiency measures for their homes. The feedback from residents, and indeed I was delighted not long ago to be out in one of those homes, has been overwhelmingly positive, and I'm proud that we have been able to improve the standard of these homes in this way. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Can I
two funds available to assist those residents who are facing financial hardship as a result of the welfare reform changes introduced by the government since April 2013. There is the Discretionary Housing Payment Fund, which is available to help residents who have a shortfall between the amount of housing benefit they receive and the amount of rent they have to pay. The Discretionary Housing Payment Fund is provided by the Department of Work and Pensions, and for 2014-15, Nuneaton and Bedworth have been allocated £221,057. As well as assisting with rent shortfalls, DHPs can also be considered to help with moving costs should residents wish to move to more affordable accommodation. Local council tax support replaced council tax benefit from the 1st of April 2013. It was acknowledged that the introduction of local council tax support may mean some claimants would experience financial hardship due to the amount of council tax they had to pay. As such, a hardship fund was created specifically for those claimants receiving local council tax support. The amount allocated is £200,000. This amount also includes a contingency for an increase in caseload, along with the effect of local council tax support on the council tax collection rates. The authority actively encourages and promotes the take-up of both funds and considers applications on a case-by-case basis. Decisions are based upon the individual circumstances of the applicant, their income and expenditure. Promotion of the DHP and Hardship Fund continues, and we have encouraged people, including with a targeted outreach campaign, to come forward to make a claim. We have specifically encouraged applications from those affected by the welfare reform changes, including those affected by the spare room subsidy. And I can say, Mr. Mayor, that quite a number of people have been helped and continue to be helped who are actively seeking to downsize while the council does not have the accommodation to help them.
Can I ask a supplementary question, please?
Thank you,
Excuse me. Can I ask a supplementary question to Councillor Harvey?
No.
Why not? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In response to the autumn statement, the Institute for Fiscal Studies stated that the Chancellor would need to make massive cuts in public spending if he is to carry through his plans on the deficit. Can the leader tell us, then, what re-electing a Conservative government could mean for council services local people rely on?
Mr. Mayor, the main source of funding the council receives from central government is revenue support grant and is used to support the delivery of services. Since the last general election comprehensive spending review of 2010, the council has experienced unprecedented reductions in this grant in excess of 40%. The council has managed these reductions through its medium-term financial planning and annual budget setting processes, and as such, Mr. Mayor, I believe we've been extremely successful, far ahead of most councils, in keeping most of our services intact while looking at savings elsewhere. Funding for 2016-17 and beyond is uncertain, but significant ongoing reductions in RSG are assumed, in line with national funding reductions currently of 9%. These reductions have been built into the Council's medium-term financial plan approved by Cabinet in October and represent an anticipated reduction of 1.3 million over the two-year period 2016-17 and 2017-18. The reductions in RSG funding mean that it is increasingly becoming a smaller proportion of the finance the Council has available to support its services, and income from business rates and council tax have become more significant shares of our overall financing, although I do have to add, Mr. Mayor, that we have been able to keep the council tax down in this authority.
There's one way to keep that down. Stop it.
The Council must set a balanced budget each year and still needs to identify savings of 219,000 in 2015-16. It's also identified that a further 1.5 million of savings in 2016-17 and 2017-18 will also be required. If reductions in RSG are more severe than those assumed, additional savings will also have to be identified. However, Cabinet have already been working with officers on a 2-year savings plan for 2015-16 and 2016-17 to identify how this gap can be bridged with the minimum disruption to services for local people. The Council is using innovative ways to generate income through the setting up of the Council's training arm, NABCEL, and working to generate additional income through business rates from business growth in the borough. The outcome of the next general election is likely to have a significant impact on the Council's MTFP, and the assumptions will need to be reviewed early in the new Parliament to ensure we are best placed to meet this challenge. In short, Mr Mayor, and this has been verified by external bodies that Councillor Margaret refers to, electing a Conservative government in the next general election based on this Council's experience since 2010 will clearly be a disaster for local services, and we can only hope it will not happen.
Labour's a disaster.
You're already a
Can
disaster.
I ask for quiet, please? Can I ask
Everybody
Councillor
voting
Condon
for.
this question?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Obviously this question is based upon the fact the borough plan is being delayed. We were supposed to have a working party in November, and that has now been cancelled until mid-January. So we've got a 2-month delay on the borough plan working party. So it's clearly not going to happen for the next 6 months. So, I'm sorry, you had about quarter of an hour to speak, and I just raised my question.
Can I just point out as leader of the Council that I have correctly, and everybody else has, behaved in accordance with the Council's procedures. I don't shout across the chamber, and I...
You just cut him off.
And people are meant to ask the question that is in front of us.
If you could stick to your question, ask for.
Sorry, sir, I was just explaining where the question came from.
No, there's no need for explanation. The question is there. Please put it
And
there.
I did ask the question to the Leader of the Council, not to the portfolio holder when I sent it in. So I asked Dennis Harney, the Leader of the Council, what is the likely financial cost for each 6 months delay to the borough plan, including officers' costs, the lost community infrastructure levy, income and the planning appeal costs? Thank you.
Mr Mayor, I refer that to the portfolio holder for this area to whom the question should have been asked.
I will answer it because I could certainly answer your first part without any question. To work out any costs associated with income and planning appeals would only be possible if we had the knowledge of the future events. It is therefore impossible to answer this part of the question. Officers are employed by the council, so the cost of their time is already paid for. Their priority is the borough plan, which is put ahead of other work. If any delay in the borough creates time for officers, the time will be spent on those other property projects, so there will be no increase in cost. It's a good job I can't come back to the first one.
Thank you, Councillor. Can I ask Councillor Foster for his question, please?
The leader and other councillors will be aware of the questions which I asked previously around air pollution issues within the uninspected borough plan and the damage done to the health of residents of the borough, which have been rejected previously as unimportant. Much of the air pollution damage is from the chemicals getting into the lung via the complex small molecules and extremely small particulates from the exhaust fumes of modern diesel engines, which the global automotive industry is not yet properly aware to. As interim measures. In Britain today, about 29,000 premature deaths per year are blamed on this type of air pollution. My question originally was to the leader, I only expect a yes or no answer to this question. Will the leader now begin to take these matters seriously and to make efforts with officers and especially outside experts to change the proposed forward borough plan on an urgent basis to take the planned continued flow of through traffic away from our residential areas to improve the
Western Relief Road.
We'll go to the portfolio holder, please. Councillor Lloyd.
The council takes air quality very seriously.
No, you don't.
That is why officers have already commissioned an independent expert to examine the effects of air quality of our proposals.
Why did you miss it off the top?
Thank you, Councillor. Can I ask Councillor Wilson to explain?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Residents in Whitestone, the ward I represent, collected the largest petition in the borough plan. Similar petitions and responses in large droves were received by this council almost a year and a half ago, and yet thousands of people have received the courtesy of a full reply from this council. Could the portfolio holder enlighten residents and councillors alike as to when we will receive a proper response to the consultation?
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Lloyd.
All of their consultation responses have been published on the council's website. The council has considered all of the responses carefully and is currently discussing them with the Borough Plan Working Party. Residents will be informed of the results when the draft Borough Plan is published. If you sat on it, the street is available for you. You'd have had that information, like the rest of them would, but you refuse to sit on the working party, don't you? You can tag it, but you refuse to sit on it. You can get all that information. You choose to ignore it.
Make it a question, not a statement.
It is a question, Mr. Mayor, and I won't go on about the misapprehension.
No, you answer.
But given the fact that Councillor Lloyd has previously said tonight, in fact, that the borough plan is the priority for this council, could he explain then why £59,000 was cut from the borough plan budget last year, when an additional planning policy officer, which could have helped speed up these matters, cost £37,000 a year?
Councillor Lloyd.
To answer such a question off the top of the head, on finance, you have to be very careful how you reply. So therefore, I will have that sent to you in a letter form.
So we don't see it.
It's your money.
Well, that's it. So
Let's move on now to item 8, which is special urgent decisions. I'm informed there have been no decisions taken as a special urgency rule. So I'm going to move on now to item 9, which is the report from the Cabinet by the Leader of the Council, which is attached to the agenda. And can I ask the Leader of the Council to present his report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, as it stated, the report covers the Cabinet meetings of the 1st of October, 29th of October and the 5th of November, and there is always a slight delay because of the publishing of reports, so that the last Cabinet meeting was reported at the next Council, apart from certain decisions which are referred to later in the agenda. I think the main item to report on, Mr. Mayor, is the continuing financial difficulty of this council in keeping services going for our residents. Since the day one of the installation of this disastrous coalition government, this council...
Politics again.
Yeah, stop wasting money.
Mr. Mayor, if I could
Could we
continue...
just allow the speaker to speak, please?
Please speak politics out of it.
I don't know whether you're aware this is a political arena, so please bear with us.
I will not apologise, Mr. Mayor, for talking politics, because it is politics that has brought the problem
meantime, can you please allow the speakers to finish what they're saying? Thank you.
Is that an offer for everyone to stand down and start a whole new set of local by-elections?
Yeah, please do. Get rid of these muppets.
I'm going to ask you again to allow the speakers to finish speaking. If you're not prepared to do that, I'll be asking you to leave. Okay? Thank you. Carry on.
Mr Mayor, as item 3A refers, in terms of the financial plan 2014 to 18, savings of 2.6 million are required over the life of the plan. Considering this authority only receives 13% of all council tax collected in this borough, this is an enormous amount for us to save. So far we have managed, without massive redundancies or losses in services, to maintain our services, which cannot be said in many other areas, because we have looked at things which are non-essential and we have worked very hard with officers to do this. We have learned in detail that the savings of nearly £1 million have already been identified for 2015-16. We are still over £200,000 short, and that will be dealt with in the coming years in terms of balancing the budget for 2015-16, and then we of course have the following year even more massive savings to make, Mr Mayor. I will also refer to the point further along, which talks about the sort of savings that we've made over this year, and we have been very lucky in terms of the saving we made in re-tendering the contract for leisure facilities with the similar specification, so we've lost no service levels, but we have in fact gained a large amount of money in the amount of the tender. And we have removed some vacant posts, and that means, Mr Mayor, that many of our staff are now actually working extremely hard doing what 2 or 3 people did previously. We will continue to work on this budget process in the coming months. We do want to ensure a balanced budget, and our main aim is to make sure that services are continued. This is not an authority as some others, where we see junketing left, right and centre. It never has been, but we are very careful in the way we spend other people's money, Mr Mayor, and the way we spend other people's money is on services, and that is what we shall continue to do. I just do want to point out, Mr Mayor, that in spite of long negotiations for the change in the future management and operation of Eton Sports Centre, which would have effectively saved us £70,000 a year, but have kept the same level of service running, that has now been pulled out of by the academy there, so that in fact that is another amount of money, another £70,000 that we do have to find for next year.
Thank you, Councillor. Is there any member wishing to...
Whatever. Yes. I'll take them together. Firstly, point 7A, which is the annual monitoring report. We get an annual monitoring report every year which says where we're going on our local development plan, etc. 2 years ago it said we're 2 years away from having a borough plan. At the Cabinet on the 5th of November it said the annual monitoring, the borough plan will be ready November or December 2016, i.e. we're still 2 years from plan. Having what's gone on the last couple of weeks, the borough plan has been postponed to after the general election, it seems, adding another 6 months delay to the borough plan. Surely it's time for the portfolio holder to resign and be replaced by something that can do a borough plan. My second question was on the same page 8A, the Vicarage Street development, it seems to be based upon building a new supermarket, according to Councillor Harvey's comments to the Economic Prosperity Board. Supermarkets are cancelling development plans left, right and centre for the ones we've already got planned. So surely the chance of 2 new supermarkets in the NIC is totally impossible. Why are we wasting our time on trying to chase 2 supermarkets? Why aren't we redeveloping the Vicarage Street site for some alternative employment and residential use? Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Harvey.
Well, firstly, Mr Mayor, it's interesting
UKIP.
We're not UKIP. Oh, leave it out. Not the UKIP representatives. Nothing to do with UKIP. You put that in the minutes as well. How offensive can you be?
You've established who you are.
That's out of order.
Very out of order. And I'm very offended.
A lot of us wear Labour.
Yes. 27 years we voted for you lot. And disgusted we are.
I'm going to say it again.
Apologise.
Can we have some quiet in the gallery, please?
Yes, you can if you don't offend
Some
us.
quiet in the gallery. Thank you.
Don't offend us.
Mr Mayor, at no point did I say everybody who was clapping was a UKIP member. I said there was very loud clapping from UKIP for the Green Party, and two candidates of UKIP sitting in the gallery are clapping very loudly for Councillor.
Would you like to point them out?
What's that got to do with what you said?
Because he actually come out with something that's common
So I'm going to ask again. This is the last time I'm asking.
Tell us to
If
stop
I'm going to say
lying.
it again, I will have the gallery cleared. So can we have
Won't do anything then, will we?
Councillor Harvey?
Firstly, Mr Mayor, this council has long had a policy of not allowing large supermarkets and out-of-town developments. This has killed the town centre in many, many areas where supermarkets have been allowed in out-of-town areas and other large stores, and the town centres have been killed. This council has always had a policy of any supermarket development is required to be within or very close to town centres, so that the small businesses will continue to thrive alongside those shops. Because it can't be denied, Mr Mayor, that most people go to supermarkets, but equally they like to shop in the small businesses, which we encourage, which are then very close to those areas. We do not own all of the Vicarage Street site. Half of it is owned by the County Council, 48%, of which Councillor Condotte was a member, and the County Council has certain requirements that need to be built on their or on the joint land in terms of this project. And part of that is a new library. This is part of the scheme, Mr Mayor. And to do that, there has to be funding from elsewhere. None of the funding is coming from this council. In our two town centre development areas for Nuneaton, we are looking to funding coming from outside to be able to fund improvements in the area. And I will not be asking Councillor Lloyd to resign as the portfolio holder, Mr Mayor. The working party would have progressed a lot quicker had in the past opposition members taken up their seats on that working party.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I've got 3 points. I think I'd like to do them one at a time. First of all, point 2.A.1. Can I ask the portfolio holder, now that the transfer to Matrix Academy is no longer imminent, when exactly will the council be using the earmarked budget to undertake the already overdue refurbishment of the all-weather pitches at ETEC?
We're currently seeking negotiations with the ETO Academy and to find out how long we're going to have the lease for, and as soon as those negotiations are completed, then the funding will be made available for the pitch. Equally, we've said that previously. Funding isn't an issue, the funding's there. It just means now we've got to put all the funding in. So we'd like to know how long we're going to have the establishment for, because as you know, Councillor, in 2017, the lease comes up for renewal. So we want, basically, we're going through these negotiations in the coming months with the ETO Academy to find out that information.
Thank you. Your second point?
Can I just ask a quick supplementary there, because I think it's relevant. If the work needs doing and we've got the budget, why don't we just do the work now instead of waiting for the negotiations? It seems like it just needs doing.
business, you know, you've got to think about it. I'm not going to pump money into a facility to have it taken back off us in a month or 6 months' time. We need to know how long we can have it, and there's a proper process of going through that. And we're going to follow that process correctly with the ETO Academy, and when that is concluded, then we'll make a decision.
Yeah, certainly, Mr. Mayor. The second point, if I could ask the leader, in relation to point 7, planning and development, there's a lot of concern across the meeting about the lack of cemetery land for future burials. Would Councillor Harvey accept that if we had a borough plan in place, we could probably find landowners willing to sell land for the purposes of cemeteries?
Mr. Mayor, I think all council members know that this has gone to the Overview and Scrutiny Panel to look for the suggestions, because we are short of land, and part of that is caused by the lack of, well, first of all, the county council, who has not agreed to let us have land that they own on the outskirts of the town, but in fact we are looking for land that is, and that's what's been agreed by the OSP and then by the Cabinet, that we will continue to look for land that is available. Of course, the price of land for cemeteries is presumably a lot lower than the price of land for any other sort of development. And so we aren't readily offered land for cemeteries, and neither can we, at the moment, compulsorily purchase such land. So we are looking, Mr. Mayor, and it's not a political matter in terms of party politics. It was something I understood that was agreed by all parties at the OSP in terms of the way forward, in looking for, which is obviously a matter of concern to all residents, that we have enough cemetery land for the future, and that's what we want to continue to do.
Thank you, Councillor.
And finally, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Item 10, Treasury Management 10D.2. We're being asked to agree that the changes to the credit methodology. Sorry, I'll leave that until later.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Wilson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. My question relates to agenda item 7A, page 26 of the agenda, to the portfolio holder. Could he elaborate to this authority, members and the public, what contingency plans this authority is putting in place in the event that the inspector actually refuses the plans which are being put forward in the borough plan, because that could cause further delay beyond 2016 to 2017 and beyond. And surely part of good risk management is putting a contingency plan in place now.
Mr. Mayor, if the work plan is not yet completed, I can't see how we can have a contingency plan if the inspector refuses it. When we get to the situation of having the borough plan, and that is then going forward to the inspector, then we'll have a contingency plan.
Thank you. Councillor Wilson.
Mr. Mayor, the answer is rather unsatisfactory both to members and to the public. We've had cabinet reports which he has actually signed off on and been there, where officers have recommended that the political proposals for the draft borough plan could not be substantiated at appeal. Surely it is reasonable. If I may finish the question, Mr. Mayor.
A supplementary question I'll allow.
It is.
Right, get to the question then.
I am, and considering the waffle we've had from that side, I'm sure this side.
Ignore the muppets.
We've had nothing but bad manners from that side so far.
Can we, in the spirit of the season, can we just get to the question?
Surely, given the fact that officers' recommendations have said to Cabinet that they don't think this can be substantiated at the inspection stage and could incur costs, that it would be reasonable for this authority to plan for the eventuality, however unfortunate, that the plan is not approved by the inspector, financial and otherwise.
Thank you, Councillor.
If Councillor Wilson actually agreed to sit on the working party, situation of the County Council in relation to grant applications from LEP, that this came through us. So in effect, monies will be passed via us and will end up back at the County Council. And then all the decisions, and we did ask that people's comments be taken on board by the County Council at the Cabinet meeting, all that will actually be decided by the County Council. It's a method of working through us, money from the LEP. There's none of our money, but I do move that the General Fund Capital Programme for 2014-15 be increased by £500,000 to be funded by grant monies from Coventry and Warwickshire LEP. So basically, Mr Mayor, it will come in and go out again.
Thank you, Councillor Harvey. Is there a second to that motion?
Second that and reserve my right to speak.
Thank you, Councillor. Does any member wish to speak? Councillor Conklin.
I actually think we closed first.
Councillor Conklin.
I'll get sorted first. Okay, this is an absolutely disastrous plan. There was actually a really good idea of actually opening the bridge up for cyclists, maybe having a bus route, but keeping it sustainable. The title of the project originally was Sustainable Transport Link. The clue is in the title. It's about getting people out of their cars and going between the hospital, the new station and the employment land at Bermuda, all without actually adding to the pollution. Now, the project gradually morphed, and a few local members, particularly county council members, were really keen on actually building effectively a relief road for the Heath End Road, which effectively puts traffic on a totally unsuitable road through Bermuda. This is not a sustainable project, because what you get then is you get more traffic being generated, because as soon as you've got two ways out the bottom of Heath End Road, either going to the bottom or going through Bermuda Village, more traffic will then come into the Needham from the North Warwickshire to go through this area. So you actually increase the pollution and increase the traffic, particularly on the Alby Road and that end of the Heath End Road. You'll get more traffic cutting through the roadwards. You actually make the situation worse by actually opening the bridge up to all traffic. The best thing to do is to keep it sustainable. And if the bus company doesn't want to run a route, which is what they tell me, they want to open to all traffic, then we don't need to build it for any buses, in which case we've almost got it already. The project was costed about £1.6 million as a sustainable transport project. As a non-sustainable transport project, it was costed at £4.2 million. In the paperwork here, it says, adding all the contingencies and the risks, it should be budgeted for 5.3 million. 5.7 is it? 5.7 million, and we've only raised 3.7. This is an underfunded project which hasn't had any consultation, and you're giving it the money. If you give a project money first, then there's no check to actually say, is this sensible? And as I say, there's a far cheaper project. We've already got the cycle lanes there. Yeah, we can tidy them up a bit, but we do not need a massive amount of money spent making it less sustainable. And the public are really behind keeping this as a nice, quiet dead end. Bermuda's a charming place. I used to walk my dog over there as a child when I used to live in Milford Street. It always used to be a dead end. And we have a bypass. That's where the traffic should be. To actually take the traffic through Bermuda Village is nuts. And this is one of these sort of red lines. This project so stupid that I'll be there standing in front of the bulldozer, I'm sure, in 3 years' time going ahead. And so I will actually be voting against the funding, because we need to consult first, we need to take the scrutiny, not scrutiny about the funding, scrutiny about what we actually need. And then when we work out what we need to be done in Bermuda, we can work out how much it costs, and then we work out what we want to do. To actually fund a stupid project and then not have any scrutiny until it's a done deal is nuts. And the consultation, it'll be a one-option consultation. This is the project, what do you think about it? What colour do you want the railings painted? We know what consultations are like.
Well said.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. We on the Conservative bench will also be voting against tonight. There are so many holes in this proposed connectivity funding project which this authority cannot actually shirk its responsibility for. It comes down to the borough plan. Because without having the borough plan in place, which sets out the infrastructure we
There's a gentleman there who will take your voice and he represents us down in Warwickshire County Council and takes all the points for the people of this borough. Lad, you keep standing up, but you're a county councillor, but what are you actually doing down in Cabinet? You ain't doing a great deal, are you? You're coming here trying to get claps. Well done. Well done. Go down and do where the work is.
There's no point in
Councillor
conversation.
can I please remind councillors the debate is in the semicircle, not with anybody outside of the semicircle. I have
That's
two
the
other
problem, you're not
speakers.
listening.
Councillor Neil.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. As far as I'm concerned, it is a rock in a hard place, but I'm going to support this. I'm going to support the £3.7 million investment that's going to come into this borough. It's going to bring jobs. But I must totally agree with you, I wouldn't open the bridge. But the thing on this paper is to do with the money and the 3.7, and we were offered £500,000 to go towards this 3.7. Not us to make a decision on where it's going to go, or how it's going, let me finish, or how it's going to be spent. That's down to Warwickshire County Council. We are conduit just for technical reasons. Coventry and Warwickshire Local Enterprise Partnership, there's a plan here for 3.7 million. Warwickshire County Council set out to do 3.2. We will give you, the Newton Bedford Borough Council, 500,000 towards this project. Yes. Okay. Warwickshire County Council are running the project. I would not have voted.
Can't do it.
You proposed it.
If you don't get the money, you can't do it.
Councillor, can you address your comments to the chamber?
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Mayor. But I am supporting it because if I can't risk £3.7 million not coming into this borough for regeneration. We need the regeneration. We need the money. I don't want the bridge open, but we need the money. So I've got to support this £500,000, accepting this £500,000 that was offered to us.
Even if it's wrong.
Just to move it. Even if it's wrong for a section
That's your
of...
morals.
Even if it's wrong for a section of the borough, for the whole borough, you're looking at the big picture, right? We've got to take the opportunity. They've been on, as far as I'm concerned, you know, and as a borough councillor and as a council, I would hope that we will watch very, very closely the work and the proposals that Warwickshire County Council are going to do that's going to affect these people here. But it's two separate issues in a way.
That's
Take
a
the money.
question on this. How much will the Coventry benefit from our
And
demand?
can I please ask you to sit down, sir? Will you sit down, please?
Supplementary one.
Will you sit down, please? Thank you. Councillor Connie.
Right, so point of first explanation. I have actually been working extremely hard at Warwickshire County Council. I've been to the Cabinet, to the full council meetings, making my case against this bridge. Anyone who's a county council will know how strongly I'm opposed to the county council. So I don't want Tony Lloyd saying I'm only opposing it here, because I'm opposing it here, there, and I'll be opposing it on the ground.
Thank you, Councillor. You've made your point. Councillor True.
I need to remind Councillor Lloyd that the first time I spoke in this chamber, I made it very clear that we wanted to work to move the borough plan forward. But I said that we wouldn't be involved in any shabby cover-up and that it had to be done under public scrutiny. We had to hold any meetings in front of the public and have proper minutes kept and published so that people could see and have confidence and that it was a transparent and fair process. Only the Labour group want to keep it all behind closed doors. I repeat to the offer that I made then. We will work to move the borough plan forward ASAP, but it must be done in public view. We can't have any more shabby dealings behind closed doors. It's got to be up front. It's been delayed too long already.
We don't trust them anymore.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to support this recommendation wholeheartedly, 100%, because of the benefits that are coming into this borough, to the whole borough, not just one particular area.
It's a road.
Crystal clear. Now, I've sat in many of these chambers, many debates within these chambers previously, and I've to the debate and going on, it's convinced me even more tonight why I should go with this, these proposals.
It's convinced us not to vote for you.
Now, Mr. Mann, it's all right from shouting out from up there and making comments from the
Where are the
top.
people?
But let me just say, Mr. Mann, I've sat up there and I've been in that position before. I've always gave the speaker the courtesy of quiet while they're speaking. I've done it to them tonight and I've not said a word. So I hope they give me the same courtesy. Instead of some of the rude comments that have come from some of the members up there, which I take offence to. Anyway, Mr. Mayor, back to the point.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm 100% behind it. At the end of the day, whether they like it or not, the decision will be with the county council. That's where the decision will be made. And it will be up to county councillors that sit on that county council to debate and decide what happens with this scheme. I hope they vote in favour of it, from my point of view. I hope they vote in favour of it, because the benefits to Nuneaton. And there is a lot of benefits to Nuneaton from this as well. We've seen the traffic on the A4. We see the traffic on the
I'll see it from my window.
Mr. Mayor, as I said, they might not like what I'm saying. I didn't like what they were saying earlier. But maybe they'll give me the courtesy to listen to me.
You've had it. I'll speak sense.
As I was saying, Mr. Mayor, I've got my minutes and I'm going to use every minute one to promote this scheme. As far as I'm concerned, I'm in favour of it. As far as I'm concerned, the benefits to this borough are massive. And as far as I'm concerned, I hope the county council take it on board and I hope they look at this scheme objectively, and if at the end of the day they decide it's not a scheme that will work, fair enough.
And it's for the matter to be fully discussed and consulted upon by the county council. The only reason that it is true because of the borough council is because of the money being channelled through us due to grant funding regulations from the lead. And we tread on very dangerous waters. In the past I've been lectured about not mentioning the lights because when the county council turned them off, because I was told it was nothing to do with us. Well, quite clearly, Mr. Mayor, this equally is a county council matter. Those people who are on the county council, and I think Councillor Tandy had a little slip which said all councillors. She meant all Conservatives because she referred to the three opposite. I will remind people, Mr. Mayor, that the Labour Party, who seems to be getting a fair amount of stick from members opposite, do not control the county council. That's quite clear. We do not control the county council. The cabinet, to my knowledge, is full of Conservatives. I don't know that any Labour member, somebody jumped onto the county council's cabinet. This is a situation, Mr. Mayor, where the money is just being channelled through this council. It's none of our money. It's from the lead, and it will go to the county council. And it's for them to do all the negotiation with residents. We did ask for residents' concerns expressed to the cabinet to be taken into consideration, but we have never discussed the detail of this because it's about the money. That's the only thing through this council, Mr. Mayor. It's the money. Councillor Condarco is a member of the county council. He has the opportunity to make all his points, assuming their meetings are as open and everybody can speak in the same way they can here. He's got the opportunity to make those points at the county council, Mr. Mayor. There will be consultations, I understand, but it's again nothing to do with us. It's the county council. We're only involved because of this finance being moved through our capital account and on to the county council.
Thank you for that. I'm now going to move to the vote. Mr. Mayor, I will read out the names of each member in alphabetical order who will indicate if they are for or against this recommendation. Councillor Beaumont.
For.
Councillor Bonner.
Against.
Councillor Copland.
For.
Councillor Doherty.
For.
Councillor Doughty. Councillor Elliott. Councillor Foster.
Against.
Councillor Fowler. Councillor Glass.
For.
Councillor Hancox. For. Councillor Harvey. For. Councillor Hawkes. For. Councillor Haynes. For. Councillor Hickling. For. Councillor Jackson.
For.
Councillor Kondaka.
Against.
Councillor Tony Lloyd.
For.
Councillor Ian Lloyd.
For.
Councillor Longdon.
For.
Councillor Margrave.
For.
Councillor Navarro.
For.
Councillor Caroline Phillips.
Abstain.
Councillor Claire Phillips.
For.
Councillor Pomfret.
For.
Councillor Tracy Shepherd.
For.
Councillor Tandy.
For.
Councillor Taylor.
For.
Councillor Tromans.
Against.
And Councillor Wilson.
Against.